Hi everybody, Jill Lancet, and I'm here with you on a Thursday for your free card making video. Now today, I got some new paper the other day, and I was busting to make a card out of it. So I'm going to show you all the bits and pieces. I want to remind you that the paper sale, the 15% designer series paper sale ends on the 31st of August. You haven't got a lot of time, but you do have time to get your shopping list together. Now, if there's anything that you want, don't pay full price for it. Wait, get it while it's on sale. But I'm going to make a Blokey Bloke card. I've got 4 blokes essentially in my life. I've got 3 sons and of course my husband, and I really don't make enough Blokey Bloke cards. So, people think that they're really hard, but if you just sit down and, do a little bit of research about the person that's getting the card, there's lots of ways you can personalize that. If they have a particular footy team, sports team. I'm not into sports, so I just ran out after footy. But, their colours, you could put that into their card, and, I'm sure they'll recognise it instantly. Now, I do have a bit of a frog in my throat, so we'll try and get this organised. Now, I'm going to teach you some fancy schmancy knots, because blokes are simple. I think I've already said that. Blokes are little simple little creatures and they don't require much. But yeah, there are things that you can do. And I want to show you this gorgeous, 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 gorgeous paper. Now I'm going to take it out of here. It's a bit glary. It is called Country Woods. Now, obviously, all the details will be down below. Now, if this is your first time, welcome. And if you've watched my videos before, then welcome back. I'm really, really glad you're here. But look at these gorgeous papers. Now, that is the back of that one. That one is gorgeous. I'm not even throwing that little scrap out. That will come in handy. So I'm just going to show you. These kind of remind me of, the fellas in our lives. They don't require too much fancy schmancy stuff, but they're pretty much all wood. Look at that one. Isn't that lovely? Love that colour. So that's the back of that. This dark wood here, very distressed looking wood. This is the back of that one. And it looks like weathered paint on the wood there. So that's another gorgeous one. This one here, let's see what's on the back. Almost the opposite. So yeah, lots of wood grains, lots of patterns to choose from. I'm pretty sure you'll find something in this pack that you'll really love. Look at that. That's beautiful. And you've got a light wood that would complement that really, really well on the back side of that. So that is the Country Woods. Details will be in the description below, as they always are. And I'm just going to pop those away because I have, as usual, got everything ready to go. I know that, we love making cards, but sometimes we're a little bit time poor. And yeah, I like to keep things moving. So I've got my catalogue here. I will might refer to that, but we'll just pop that out of the way. Oh, by the way, that is just a folder that I have put over this to try and keep this nice. not wrecked. But anyway, we might not. But let's get into this now. I've got everything here for us. I've got some Versamark, which is the watermark stamp ink pad. It goes on like a sticky clear ink, and you can emboss that. So you obviously need an embossing buddy and some white. Well, I'm not going to use the white. I'm actually going to use this new one that I found. It's called Opaque Vanilla White, and it's just an off-white. And if you compare those two, you'll see it's just a softer white. Stampin' Up do not sell this, but it is Wow brand, embossing powder, Opaque Vanilla White. I love it. I've fallen in love with it. So the stamps that we're going to use, I've got everything set up. The stamps that I've taken from a couple of different sets, I've just got my notes there so I can refer to them. Round We Go. I've taken Day, Hip Hip Hooray, and I did a bit of stamp surgery and chopped that one in half so that I've got Your. Okay, and from the Sentimental Park, which is found in the Encore products in the catalogue or online, I've got Let's Celebrate. So they're the stamps that we're going to use. I've got, as I said, I've got them already set up, and I've got this gorgeous, gorgeous paper. Now stick around to the end because I made an alternate one, and I would love to show it to you. So yeah, stick around to the end. So now what I've done is I've got a Misty Moonlight card base. Now this is the Australian size. In the US it is a different size. This here is the size of the US cards. Now if I pop that up against the blue background, you're not looking at the outside of the laminating, just the actual card size. So they're shorter and they're a little bit wider. So if you don't have these templates, you can email me. Here's my email address. I made it big because it's very small down there. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, it's tilly2145@gmail.com. Now request a copy of the matte sizes. You will get a sheet and you can cut them up like I have here. I use these a lot. They save my sanity a lot. So if I say card base, which this is the card base. In Australia, the card base is 10.5 by 14.85 centimetres. In the US, your standard card size is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Ergo, that's a funny word, isn't it? Mat 1 in Australia is a different size to Mat 1 in the US letter size, but I will refer to them as Mat 1, as card base. And if you've got this little conversion table, you will know. If I say Mat 1 and I'm in Australia, you look on your list for Mat 1 in the US letter size. I did make a video on how to use those, so, you know, if you want to have a look at that, it's in my library. Go and scroll down. So I've got my standard card base. Now what I did was I've cut this to, I think it's matte. Oh, where is it? I wrote it on a piece of paper, didn't I? No, I didn't. I think it is, where's my rule gone? Okay. I think it's 14.3 centimetres. So that is Mat 1. Now I've left it at 10, but we are going to tear it, so it will end up being smaller. So the amount that you tear off is totally up to you, okay? So I've got that. I've got a couple of scraps of the Misty Moonlight, and we're going to deal with those. I've got some Stampin' Dimensionals ink, embossing powder. And I've got this lovely jute assortment pack. It is the 2023-2025 InColor Jute trim. I haven't used a lot of this, and I thought today, yeah, I think I better. So I've got that. And I have the stamps already set up on the on my stamping platform. Today it just happens to be the Stamparatus. I've got a couple of different ones, so you might see me, you know, chop and change, whatever. But here it is here. I've got it set up. And I'm just going to pop that jute out of the way for a minute and that card base. So I've got a piece of the just a scrap of Misty Moonlight. Now I've got these greetings. Hip hip hooray, let's celebrate your day. Kind of rhymes. And they're different fonts, which I liked. That's why I picked them out of the two, you know, the two different sets. So I've got my little piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock. I'm putting it in there like that. Now I do want to secure that. So I'm just going to pop some magnets on there. I'm going to treat it with my embossing buddy. Now I like to dab that. I like to give that a really good coverage of that. So that's that. Now I want to ink this up. Now look, these aren't in any order because we're going to actually just fussy cut them. So let me move this magnet down. And again, maybe on this side. I just want that to hold the paper down in case I have to stamp that again. So I'm going to ink up the stamps with the Versamark watermark stamp ink pad. I've got a bit of a headache today. So yeah, if I'm not jumping out of my skin, you'll know why. So I've really inked that up, and I might have to give it 2 goes. So just laying that down and just giving that a little bit of pressure. Now I'm going to give it a second to, you know, connect with the paper. And then I'm going to check it. Now always lift that up reasonably gently. So I will give it a second go because I do want this to be quite inked up. So there we go. And then I need my opaque vanilla white embossing powder. And yeah, you will have to source that. I can tell you where I got it from in Australia, but that won't help you if you are in a different country. Okay, so I've got my vanilla white, which I really love. I've been searching for like a cream / very vanilla / off-white embossing powder for years. It's been a quest, and I found this one. Now I have a little paintbrush. I mean, when I say little, I mean little. And I like to just get in there and deal with these little stray things. Yeah, before I heat set it, because otherwise it's permanent. So now I'm just going to tip this back in here. Try not to make a mess because I absolutely hate embossing powder everywhere. And I can already see, as careful as I was, I can see it. Just give me a tick because I really can't cope. I can't. I found this in one of those $2 shops, and it's like got sticky. You can change, you know, when it gets too unsticky, you just tear it off, pop that in the bin, and you've got a new sticky surface to deal with. And this one just happens to have like a little stiff brush on it. So yeah, that's great. So yeah, I'm really loving this because I really hate that. It's like sand at the beach, which is, yeah. Anyway, that's done. Hang on, I've just got to hang that back up, because then when I want it, I'll know where it is. Okay, so this is here. I'm going to heat set this now. Just give me 2 seconds while I warm this up. I'll try and put it away from the microphone. And you want to warm it up on setting number 2, or the hottest setting that you have. And you want to just give that a second, because if you allow it to heat up, your paper or your cardstock is less likely to warp, which is the word I'm looking for. Right. So now you want to just heat that until you can see it turning shiny. And just keep moving that as it turns. Just keep moving it along. And I quite like this. It kind of goes with the paper so well. Now I'm just going to check and make sure. A, I've got a headache. B, I need glasses, and I need new glasses. And C, I'm old. So now I've got those. I'm going to give those just a little second to cool down. Now you can do that. You can sit it over to the side, but that's enough to just cool it down. So now I want to cut these out separately. So I want this rustic looking. So it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, folks. Okay. So I'm just going to cut across like that. I'm going to cut this one. And I just want them, like when I looked at this, to me it looked like, you know how you go somewhere and they've got signposts telling you 5,000 kilometres to New York and all of that. That's what this reminded me of. And yeah, so I kind of, wanted that sort of look. Well, it doesn't necessarily look like that, but that's what was in my mind. So I'm just going to cut this one now. And very quick card, really. When you look at it, it's quite quick. So, yeah, and you can use up your scraps. So use up your scraps. Now I'm going to distress these. And by distress, I mean I'm just taking the blade from my snips. Now, I hold it like that. Keep your fingers out of the way, because these things are really sharp. I mean, you wouldn't think that could cut, but it can. So, yeah, just be aware of that. And I just hold it and just scrape it across until I get this distressed look. I'm doing that on all 4 sides. And you're going to get little fuzzy bits, I dare say, all over your table or your desk, but don't worry about it. Okay, so that's one. I'm doing it to all of them. And I'm not even, like taking care to make sure that they're straight or even. So, yeah. And, yeah, just be careful when you're doing this, especially with little edges like this. If you slip off, you could cut yourself. Now, I have to have a mouthful of this coffee. I just made it. I haven't even had a mouthful. Hold on. Hold your horses, honey. Good coffee. Right, let's get this last one done. Oh, no, this is not the last one. This is the second to last. Okay. So I want it sort of, you know, distressed, a bit like me really. And this is probably the longest bit in this card. Look, I've got fluff all over that. Never mind. But yeah, I mean, scissors. You can buy distressing tools. I've never owned one. Why would you own one when you could do this? And it's just as quick. So there they are. Now I'm going to just give that a bit of a tidy up. You would think I was a neat freak, but if you could see this desk, you would know otherwise. Okay, so I have my card, I have my panel here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to tear down the side of this so it becomes distressed, and I'll show you how we're going to do this. So I'm holding the bulk of it and I want to tear it, but the piece that I'm pulling towards myself, we did this with the Christmas trees the other day, that will be the discarded piece. That will be the trash, the rubbish. But you only want to do about 1/4 inch. Now look, do it in little nibbles. I think that's probably my best advice, is to just do it in little nibbles. And it doesn't matter if it's straight, it doesn't matter, you know, if you get a thick and thin edge, it doesn't matter. You could keep that if you wanted to keep that as a scrap. Let's pop that over there. And so now that is going to be our card front, but we're going to do a few things before we actually do this. Now I'm going to show you, as promised, a fancy knot. And all I have here is 2 pieces of the jute. Now, I don't know how long that is. That's got to be about, well, if I fold it in half and measure it, let's have a look. If I fold it in half and measure it, it's about 24 centimetres. So double that, it's about 48 centimetres. You won't need probably that much, okay? But I've got 2 pieces and they're folded in half, just like that. Now, you can actually fold them in half again, just like that. You'll have a loop at one end, and that's all you want to do. You want to put the 2 ends together, and you can cut those if you want, but you don't need to. Now, this is how fancy this knot is. Now, my father was in the Navy, and he prides himself on tying really good, strong knots. Did not impart that information onto me. I can tie my shoelaces up, that's about it. But I did look this up, and I think it's called a square knot. So I've got 1 loop in one hand. So what I want to do is I just want to cross those 2 tails over. So I'm crossing them over, and I'm just going to hold them, okay? So if you can see that, they're crossed over. I've got a loop on this end, and I'm just holding them, securing them like that. Now I want to do the same thing with this piece, okay? So I want to cross that loop over. So the tails are crossed over, and I want to have a loop. Now I'm going to hold that. If you can see that there, I'm just going to hold that while it's crossed over. This is probably the simplest knot I've ever seen in my life, okay? So I have my, and if you're left-handed, just do this the opposite way. I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to push it through the other loop, and then I'm going to put the 2 tails through there and pull. Look at that. Look at that beautiful knot. It looks very nautical. Now, you will have to, you know, faff about with it to get it nice, to get it the way you want it. But yeah, it's called a square knot. So you can have it a bit looser so that you can actually see, you you know, you can actually see the gap in it, or however many strands you have. But it's that easy, that easy. And of course there'll be probably a tidier side. But yeah, now, you know, if you wanted to have more strands, then, you know, that's a little bit trickier. But there's our knot, and it will sit quite nicely. And I'm going to show you another very, very, very simple and very basic one on the other card as well. So there's our really nice knot, and I'm going to put a couple of glue dots under where they cross. So just bear with me. Here are the glue dots, and I just tie a piece of old ribbon or string or something just to keep them raveled. Is that a word? I know unraveled is a word, but just to keep them tidy. Okay, so then you can easily just scoot that along. So what I want to do is I want to put one on there, one on that side, and carefully peel that off so you can see it's on the bottom there. And now I want to put another one on this side, and that's going to hold A, our knot together, and B, on the front of the card. So I want to line this up now, and I've cut this, oh my goodness, I've cut this paper totally randomly. But what I did do was I chose to have it go this way because I wanted this panel here that is a big contrast to the blue. I wanted that to be there. So I'm going to pop that sort of like somewhat in the middle and press that down. And then all I'm going to do is just turn this over and secure that at the back. Okay, so just like that. Now you can put some tape runner, you know, like the seal. You could put sticky tape, which I'm opting for just because it's a bit quicker and easy. And you can trim off these ends so there's not so much bulk. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. But I think it's like a pink background kind of just, you know, seemed to make that jute and the knot stand out. Now I'm just going to do the same thing, trim that off, just so there's less bulk there. Now I will pop this up onto dimensionals because the jute is quite thick. So I will do that. And you can, did you know that we have strips as well as panels? Did you know that? We have sheets of adhesive. Yeah, sometimes that's just as easy. And you can just cut that to fit. I don't know where my Teflon scissors are, but we'll just give it a go. So I'm just going to cut that like that, along there, and possibly cut up there like that. And you know what? It does not have to be perfect. So that's there. And then I've got another little piece that I can put down there. But I will cut that a bit narrower. And that saves you from, you know, putting all those little dimensionals on and peeling the back of them off and stuff like that. Now, I will put some glue. I often like to put some glue where the string, the ribbon, the jute is, just to make sure that that will stay where it is. Okay, so yep, I'm going to do that. And I just have to peel one thing off. It's like so easy. So easy. So I'm going to line that up. Pop that on there like that. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm not sure if you knew that we did that or not. But yeah, very, very handy. So just going to pop that on there like that. And I might pop a little bit in the middle. So pop a little bit in the middle, put that in there for another day. And Bob's your uncle. You know what? I've never had an Uncle Bob, ever. Throughout my whole family's history, I've never had an Uncle Bob. Okay, so I'm going to peel that off. I wonder how that saying came about, Bob's your uncle. Yeah, I think Mr. Google might help out there. So now I want to line this up and make sort of sure that that's even on these three sides. Look at that. How quick was that? But don't worry, I'm still going to use some ordinary dimensionals, okay? So I've got that. It gives it a nice firm base behind it. So now I want to write hip hip hooray, let's celebrate your day. So I'm just going to arrange those on there. I'm going to put some up, some down, some halfway up, some halfway down. So I'm putting a dimensional on just one side of this. And a spot of glue on the other side. And look, it doesn't have to be straight. In fact, it probably looks better if it's not straight. There's that. I might pop up this side for this one. Do whatever you like. If I move that down a bit closer, it will pop up even more. So, little spot of glue, and you don't need much. Let's celebrate. Hip hip hooray, let's celebrate. And you can curl that up if you want to. Let's celebrate your, I might glue that one down. So glue this one down flat. And then I'll pop this one up on both edges. So they're all a bit different. And that's it. I'm not going to decorate the inside of the card. As I said, I've got a bit of a headache. But look, how blokey bloke is that? You learnt one of the simplest knots in the world. 2 loops, push them through, put the tails through 1 loop and tighten it. Blokey bloke written all over this card. Now have a look at the other one I made. This one I made first, and I will show you how I made the knots on this card. Now I've gone with a different colour combination for a start. So I've gone with the early espresso. Now that's what's in between there, but you don't even notice that on this card. It pushes the blues forward, whereas this one really accentuates the espresso. I've done the sentiments on the espresso. I did it with the same embossing powder, the Opaque Vanilla White. I have some cream or very vanilla baker's twine. Now, I got this years ago, and this will last me till the end of time. Now I'm going to show you how I achieved that knot. I'm going to show you up close. I just put 3 strands on there. Sorry, my nose is blocking up now, so I don't know what's going on there. So you just need a piece as long as you need it, okay? Now I'm just folding it in half. Now this is stuck down. I just put some glue behind those, but I'm going to show you how to achieve this. So with the loop towards you, you pop that under the string, and then you bring the tails through the loop and you just pull them tight, just like that. And it gives you that really lovely effect. Now, you pull it tight, you can make them go separated or whatever. I trimmed them off. I will take this off because I like the 3 on there. So I've just trimmed them at different levels. And then I have taken, I take your pick, and all I've done is just frayed them out. So I've put the take your pick in between the strands and just separated them like that. I'll show you again on this next one. I'm putting take your pick. It's got something sticky on it, so it's probably not going to cooperate. And I had glued that down and let it set before I did this part. So, yeah. And so you just fray them out just like that. And as I said, there's something sticky on this, so it's not cooperating very well. But there, you get the idea. And yeah, and then I just arranged them I arranged them first and then I did that. But that's it. And that just, the reason I glued them, I just put a little dot of Tombow behind all of them, is because they just come off very, very easily. But yeah, 2 different cards. Well, two cards almost exactly the same. They do look different depending on the background. This one looks, the paper looks really different, but it's the same paper. So let me know what you think. Let me know Misty Moonlight or Early Espresso. And yeah, I'd love to hear which one is your favourite. I did them in 2 different orientations just so that you could see. It's a simple panel of the Designer Series paper. This one I've done it on a very vanilla card base, and I've put the Early Espresso behind it, so it does have an extra panel, but you can make it even simpler by just putting it straight onto the card base. So Misty Moonlight, Early Espresso. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And if you'd like to share this video, that would be perfectly a-okay. I will put all the details in the description below. The 15% Designer Series paper sale ends on the 31st of this month. So if you're thinking of buying paper, get it while it's on sale. Yeah. Try really hard not to buy anything full price. And if you do like this video, consider donating to the Kanamaluka Wildlife Rehabilitation Centre. It is my nephew and his family. They run this non-for-profit wildlife centre in the wilds of Tasmania. And I reckon it's a bit chilly down there. I haven't even been to Tasmania. But it's totally run on volunteers and donations. So if you'd like to if you're in Tasmania and you'd like to volunteer, get in touch with them at their website. If you would like to donate, I have set up the cost of a cup of coffee a month. Simple, not too expensive to break the bank, but any dollar helps. Any $1 helps. So, let me know. Let me know what you think of these 2 cards, Misty Moonlight, Early Espresso, And thank you again for supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for sharing some crafty time with me. And I'll see you guys all on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Stay kind. Hooray.